There's something haunting about the stories we hear from those who've brushed against death. They speak of floating above their bodies, moving through tunnels of light, and encountering beings that radiate love and wisdom beyond comprehension. These accounts aren't just fleeting memories. They're vivid, transformative experiences that challenge our understanding of consciousness, life, and what lies beyond. At the heart of these phenomena lies a profound mystery: the nature of consciousness itself. Modern science tells us that consciousness arises from the brain, a complex network of neurons firing electrical signals. When the brain ceases to function, so too should consciousness. And yet, countless individuals report lucid, coherent experiences during periods when their brains show no measurable activity. Take Pam Reynolds, for example. During the procedure, her body was cooled, her blood drained, and her brain activity flatlined. Yet she later described intricate details of the operating room, including the appearance of surgical tools and conversations among the medical team, details verified by those present. How do we explain such accuracy? Was her consciousness somehow still active despite the absence of measurable brain activity? Or did she tap into a broader field of awareness, one that exists independently of the physical brain? This question leads us to explore the work of physicists like Sir Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff, who propose that consciousness arises from quantum processes within microtubules in brain cells. According to their hypothesis, consciousness isn't localized to the brain but may extend infinitely, intertwined with the fabric of the cosmos. While controversial, this idea aligns with ancient metaphysical teachings that describe consciousness as an eternal essence distinct from the temporary body. Hindu philosophy, for instance, speaks of the soul, Atman, as an eternal essence that transcends the material world, while Tibetan Buddhists describe intermediate states, bardos, between death and rebirth. These ideas, though rooted in spirituality, resonate surprisingly well with contemporary scientific hypotheses about consciousness. But how do we reconcile these ancient teachings with modern empirical evidence? The answer may lie in the consistency of near-death experience, NDE reports across cultures, demographics, and belief systems. Dr. Raymond Moody, who coined the term near-death experience in his groundbreaking book, Life After Life, identified recurring elements in these accounts. The sensation of leaving the body, moving through a tunnel, encountering a bright light, meeting deceased loved ones or spiritual guides, undergoing a life review, and ultimately deciding or being compelled to return to life. These elements appear universally, suggesting a shared pattern rather than culturally conditioned hallucinations. For example, take the life review phenomenon, where individuals relive key moments of their existence in vivid detail. Survivors often describe this process as non-judgmental, yet profoundly transformative, offering insights into how their actions impacted others. This mirrors existential philosophies that emphasize living authentically in the face of mortality. Søren Kierkegaard and Martin Heidegger both grappled with the inevitability of death, arguing that awareness of our finitude shapes how we live meaningfully. NDEs amplify this insight, offering first-hand accounts of what lies beyond. But let's delve deeper into the mechanics of these experiences. Consider the role of memory and perception. If consciousness can exist independently of the brain, then how do we account for the vivid sensory details reported by NDE survivors? Dr. Sam Parnier's AWARE study investigated cardiac arrest survivors, finding cases where patients reported accurate perceptions of events occurring while they were clinically dead. For instance, one man described watching doctors attempt resuscitation efforts from the corner of the room, corroborated by medical staff present at the scene. Such accounts challenge materialist assumptions about consciousness, suggesting that it may transcend the physical body. But how do we test this scientifically? Can we develop technology to measure consciousness outside the brain? These are questions that remain unanswered, yet they underscore the need for further investigation. Now let's turn to out-of-body experiences, OBEs, which often occur within the context of NDEs, but also happen spontaneously or during altered states of consciousness. people describe floating above their bodies, observing events with clarity and precision. What makes these experiences so intriguing is their consistency across cultures and contexts. Consider the research of Dr. Janice Miner Holden, who studied participants' ability to recount details of their surroundings during induced OBEs. Despite being blindfolded or placed in isolated environments, some individuals reported accurate observations that couldn't have been gleaned through normal sensory input. One particularly striking case involves Charles Tart, a psychologist who studied a woman named Miss Z. During sleep experiments, Miss Z repeatedly demonstrated the ability to read numbers written on a shelf above her bed while in an OBE state, a feat impossible to achieve physically. Such findings suggest that consciousness may not be confined to the brain, a radical idea that challenges conventional neuroscience. But how do we explain these experiences? Skeptics argue that OBEs result from neurological processes such as misfiring neurons or disrupted sensory input, and yet cases like those of Miss Z complicate this explanation. If OBEs were merely hallucinations, why do they exhibit such remarkable consistency across demographics, cultures, and belief systems? Why do they often lead to lasting psychological transformations, including reduced fear of death, heightened empathy, and increased spirituality? These transformations suggest that something profound is occurring, something that defies easy categorization. Take the story of Anita Moorjani, for example. Diagnosed with terminal cancer, Moorjani fell into a coma, her organs shutting down. During her NDE, she entered a state of pure love and clarity, encountering a presence she interpreted as divine. She was given a choice: stay in this blissful realm or return to her suffering body. Choosing the latter, she awoke to find her cancer miraculously regressing, a phenomenon baffling even her doctors. Similarly, Eben Alexander, a neurosurgeon whose worldview was shattered by his own NDE, recalls traveling through alternate dimensions and meeting a luminous being who communicated telepathically. Upon recovery, he dedicated his life to studying consciousness, arguing that his experience proves the existence of a non-material realm. Stories like these aren't isolated incidents. Thousands of documented cases share similar themes, suggesting a universal pattern underlying these experiences. Ultimately, NDEs and OBEs invite us to expand our paradigms. Perhaps consciousness isn't confined to the brain but extends infinitely, intertwined with the fabric of the cosmos. Perhaps death isn't an endpoint but a transition, a doorway to realms beyond our current comprehension. This perspective aligns with existential philosophies that emphasize living authentically in the face of mortality. Whether or not we believe in an afterlife, the stories of those who ventured beyond the veil inspire us to live more fully, love more deeply, and embrace the mystery of existence with open hearts and minds.